we have a Dremel tool now, and this is a little grinding wheel that I like. It's nice and rounded, so I can actually get in there and just kind of grind that down. And then I've got a smaller sort of touch-up bit, and then we use some files to do it. But what I'm going to do is go ahead and show you a Bravo upgraded piston, and the Bravo already has that tooth removed. So they've already gone ahead in the factory and designed this without that second tooth. And these pistons work just fine. You don't need that second tooth. As long as this tooth is reinforced, or your angle of engagement is as best as possible, this first tooth should hold up for a long time. So we're gonna put the Bravo away because we're not using it. We could just cheat and pull that out and essentially use that instead, so we don't have to do the work. But since I'm a glutton for punishment and I don't mind wasting my time working on this stuff, I'm going to go ahead and cut this piston down. So we're going to attach our bit to our Dremel tool and we'll get to working on it. So stand by, here we go. Actually, you know what? Got this nice device here that allows me to cut or there we go. All right, it's important not to hit the surface of the first tooth. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and grind this down without hitting this first tooth. Alright, once we've kind of gone in there and we've removed it, you notice there's like a little bit of material on there. I like to take like a flathead screwdriver and we just kind of go in and scrape off the plastic that just kind of worked its way up in there. And in doing so, we create a nice flat surface where that tooth is removed. You can see it from the side here. That tooth is now gone. Now, I didn't hit this first tooth, so it's still in really good shape. And if you want to be kind of a meticulous person about it, oh, hit the camera while it's jumping up. Sorry about that. We're shaking. You're gonna probably barf from the shaking, but take a small file and just clean this up. Make sure to no burrs or anything like it on there. Remember, try not to hit your first tooth here, but doing it with a file and doing it with a Dremel tool. Second tooth is removed. The piston now no longer has a second tooth. And what we're going to do is bring our gearbox back in. Go home, tools. Get this guy out of the way. Bring our gearbox back in. We're going to put our piston into the cylinder set. And we're going to lock that in there. Make sure everything's in the right place. Make sure our piston is actually gear side down or tooth side down. So now if you'll notice, as I've got this in here, I can rotate the gears and bammo, that's actually decent angle of engagement. That means the it looks like I can actually move it back just a fraction. So I have like nice, clean, straight face-to-face gears, tooth and gear tooth meshing perfectly. So from here, it still gets up. It looks like I'm hitting it kind of like this, where I almost want it flat. And since I took that tooth out, I've got a little more room before I hit tooth number 3. So what we're going to do is we're going to shim the piston back, and we have these little nylon shims, and what they do is they go in between the cylinder head I'm sorry, can't think right. They go in between the piston head and the piston, and it actually moves the piston teeth back into the gearbox just a little bit. So let me go ahead and get my Allen wrench. I'll come right back and we'll do that. Alright, here we go. I got my tool. The nice feature of the King Arms is that it uses a hex wrench to hold this in rather than a Phillips screwdriver, which is a bonus because this little screw here is easier to maintain than one with a Phillips head. So what we're going to do is let's get some of the grease off of here. It's got some light grease in on the cylinder head, so we're going to clean that up. Piston head, and then, I'm sorry, piston head and the, God, I keep saying cylinder head. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? For me, you can just mount these on here, but I like to just keep it from shifting, and by doing that, I just a little dab, just a tad, just a little bit, just like that. Yeah, happy trees, happy trees. All right, and don't glue your fingers to your piston. We're gonna go ahead and just let this guy stick or here to the piston head, and I'm sorry, piston, and then we're going to mount the piston head back on there. So I don't know why that's not sticking to the super glue. It doesn't like it. But then you can actually press this back on here in between the two. Make sure it doesn't bulge out in any way that it would interfere with the movement of the piston. And then we're going to run this screw back down in here, and then we should have damn near perfect angle of engagement. And you know, for me, close enough is better than not at all. So, you know, if you haven't done this on a gun, it's probably, you know, not perfect. So let me get that on there. It's also important to put a little Loctite on here. What just happened? So I think I may have discovered one issue with this gun. It apparently, the piston head did not like that screw. But your safe bet is whenever you're putting a piston head back onto the piston when you're done checking your angle engagement, it's a good idea to use some Loctite. Loctite will prevent, of course, you know, guys using my bench all the time here borrow my Loctite and then don't close the cap on it, so we end up with bottles and bottles of dried up Loctite. So it looks like down inside here the stuff's still good, so I'll just peel it off, dip that in there. I kind of overdid it, but you know, we'll survive. Get that screw up to there. Piston head, you're going on there. Alright, let's push you down. Get that screw in at the right angle, and then we're going to go ahead and lock this puppy on there. Alright, now once that's on, once that's on there, you've got it shimmed back just a little bit more. Go ahead and get the O-ring in place. Get that back into your gearbox. Check your angle engagement one more time. Make sure that tooth, yep, look at that, nice, missing that third tooth, catching that sucker right at the right angle. I don't know if you can see it, but that to me is better than not shimming that piston. So we got the sorbothane in there now. That's in another video, and we've also got the angle of engagement change. So hopefully this video helps you out with a little more advanced teching of your gearbox, and make sure you subscribe, make sure you like this video, and if you have any comments, put them in the comment section and we'll do our best to answer them, but in most cases we'll just ignore you and tell you to buy products from our website, which is a shameless plug, www.321airsoft.com. And then make sure you watch all of our other videos. We'll go out and play airsoft, and you know, we put the helmet cam on and you get to see us shooting these guns. This is my King Arms M4A1. You can actually see an internal review and external review of this gun on our channel. Hell, watch us, man. Subscribe. I mean, it doesn't hurt. I mean, this stuff's free to you. And occasionally, you know, support our sponsors by watching the stupid ass commercials. But anyway, thanks for watching. Catch you next video.